G.A.A. Curragh agus tá fáilte romh go dtí Curragh Clane an seo ag Old Bog Kildare. This year marks the 70th year of Comhaltas Units, which was founded in Mullingar in 1951. It's Misha Tom Dillon, Cathaoirleach Board Kildare, Comhaltas Units. And with me today are our two presenters, Ciara Geraghty on my right and Una Nigona on my left, tá fáilte romh. We are here in the lovely surroundings of Millicent Golf Club to record our FleadhFest programme for 2021. Anish, there's no middle at Treefort, Gallagher's Frolics, Willie Coleman's and the Tone Rose, agus tá súlagam go bhain sibh tána bhasta.
Excellent music there, by Éireann Gwyn Anish. We now have a song from Mairead Swords. This song is about a journey from Bodenstown, where Wolfetown is buried, to Clane, along the Black Hole Road, which is lined with trees, hence the name, the Shady Road to Clane. History has it that John Ennis, an Uilleann Piper, rumoured to be born in Prosperous, emigrated to the United States in 1865 and became a founding member of the Irish Music Club in Chicago in 1901. The club's goal was to revive old melodies, dances and songs. The club published this melody with new words by Ennis to promote the song, The Shady Road to Clane.
Nas that name's a boat, that shady road, from Bodenstown to Clane. Oh, enchanted by this lovely spot, I slowly strolled along. And from my deep abstraction, I was stirred by honey song. 'Twas the cool and song in Gaelic and tradition's purest strain, by a colleen who approached me on the shady road to Clane. Oh, enamoured I saluted her, Cunnist tá tú Chalín She answered me in Gaelic, and to add to her dumpog, she sweetly said, Tá me go magus Cunnist tá tú féin. I have lost my way, kind sir, I say, is this the road to Clane? Well, with gentleness and willingness I directed her along, and as she flitted onward she resumed her honey song. The blackbird ceased its piping and the linnet it refrained, and the thrushes paused to listen on the shady road to Clane.
I'm here today with Padraig McAvoy, a Clane native, and Padraig is going to give us a history of the abbey here in Clane.
Thank you, Tom. St Ailbe is credited with bringing Christianity to Clane, and he's buried in Emily in Tipperary, and his grave is marked by a distinctive small Celtic cross, and a replica of that can be seen on the Millicent Road as you approach the abbey from the Millicent area. So there's a record of the abbey in Clane from 520, and that was probably located out of the Liffey floodwaters at the south end of the street. It was sacked by the Danes in 1235, and it was a venue later by 1162 of a synod, which was attended by 26 bishops and many abbots, and included also St Lawrence O'Toole. The abbey was then later suppressed with the arrival of the Normans and the Franciscans, and probably absorbed into Franciscan life further down the Sallins Road on the way to the Liffey. So by 1542, the friary was repressed by Henry VIII, and the abbey went back into use, or continued in use, by the Reformed Church. And by 1615, there's a record to say the chancel was in ruins at the back of the abbey, and that might be the site of the Wogan burial tomb. And by 1783, records show that there was a spire on top of what we now see as the square tower structure. That was damaged with fire in 1798 during the rebellion event, where there was cannon fire coming from the location of Abbeyland's house, which is now on the Link Road in Clane. And then by 1826, the spire was so badly damaged it had to be removed. By 1883, they de-roofed the church, and as the congregation relocated to the church, the new church at Millicent, and the church was left roofless, and by 1973, there was trees growing up through the core of the church. In that year, the Community Council in Clane, they secured the property, and they secured the tower against falling. By 1984, the Community Council restored the building into a community centre, and it's been the site of many Comhaltas events since.
A lovely piece of history there about the abbey and friary. Gurb maith agat Padraig. Continuing on the same theme, we will continue our trip around our village, taking in the main street, St Patrick and St Bridget's Church and the Boys' Old School on the Dublin Road, where our branch commenced teaching traditional music and dancing in 1982, having been founded that year.
Anish a Carja tá Auron Ollie na Gwyn ó Mavam Margaret Carney. As Kildare is well known for horse racing and stud farms, we're going to take a trip around our county now, down to the Curragh, the National Stud and the Japanese Gardens. The writing of the song The Curragh of Kildare, which there are many versions, although associated with County Kildare, is attributed in large part to Robert Burns, the Scottish poet who lived in the 18th century.
The winter it has passed, and the summer's come at last, and the birds they are singing in the trees. Their little hearts are glad, but mine is very sad. For my true love is far away from me. The rose upon the briar by the waters running clear brings joy to the linnet and the bee. Their little hearts are blessed, but mine can know no rest. For my true love is far away from me, and it's straight I will repair to the Curragh of Kildare. For it's there I'll find tidings of my dear. All you who are in love, I and cannot it remove. I pity the pain that you endure, for experience lets me know that your hearts are filled with woe, and it's a woe that no mortal can cure. A livery I'll wear, and I'll comb back my hair, and in velvet so green I will appear, and it's straight I will repair to the Curragh of Kildare. For it's there I'll find tidings of my dear.
We couldn't make our FleadhFest video without mentioning the great piper from Kildare, the late Liam Flynn. Niall and Brian Crean, accompanied by Ger Furlong, are going to play a couple of tunes in honour of Liam. Brian will introduce the tunes. Alright, Liv.
Myself, Niall and Ger are going to be playing 3 tunes that will be associated with the late great Liam Flynn. He was a real hero of Irish music and one of Kildare's finest sons. The first one is Colleen the Curragh of Kildare, which is from one of Liam's albums when he really developed his sound and brought Uilleann Pipe into a new point and higher points in Irish music. And the second one is Drunken Gouger, which he would have got from his time in West Clare with likes of Willie Clancy, Bobby Casey and Junior Crehan. And the third is just a bar from the Fox Chase, which he got from his seminal influence, Seamus Ennis. The Drunken Gouger, as far as we know, he would have gotten it from Junior Crehan, my granduncle and Niall's uncle. And Junior would have got it from Pat Byrne, a travelling dance master. And Pat didn't initially want to give it to Junior, so Junior got one of his compatriots to go in and get a lesson off Pat to learn the Drunken Gouger. And Junior hid outside the window and listened and learned by ear. So I suppose we'll think of Liam and all the people who passed down their music, whether they knew it or not.
I'm joined now by John Duffy, founder member of Clane branch of Comhaltas Units, and Pa Connolly, who played football for his club Clane and County Kildare as well. So John, we'll start with you.
I called the first meeting down on the Dublin Road there, and we had a full house. First meeting I was ever at that had a full house, and I was nominated chairman, a position I held for 14 years. And for 10 of those years I was also county chairman, County Kildare chairman as well. So went on and we held, that was in 1982, and we started the first Fleadh Cheoil in 1983. We had 83 and 84. We had 7 Fleadh Cheoils in 8 years. We took part in various other Fleadh Cheoils around the country, in county Fleadhs and All Ireland's we'd be always at. And it's always great, and still do, you know, children really, you see them at All Ireland Fleadh Cheoils and Leinster Fleadh Cheoils, and they're all enjoying themselves and enjoying being with one another and enjoying playing music, which is great.
So Pa, tell us about your playing career with Clane and with Kildare. I think you won your first county championship with them in, was it 1963?
In 1963, after a lapse of 47 years, which was great. Previously won it in 1917 or something anyway, yes. And then we won it in 67 and 75. And the team that we beat in 63 was Round Towers from Kildare, and they had beaten us in the 59 final, so it was a bit of a revenge. We got all back, and probably the two same teams like at the time anyway, which was wonderful.
And you played for county as well, Pa, didn't you?
Well, we got a good few years out with the county as well, like, but I wouldn't like to be playing at what the stuff to do with the training now, like we didn't do that those days anyway, it's completely different now, like just running around carrying someone on your back. I don't think you'd see that nowadays.
No. It's probably harder today, Pa, is it?
Oh yes, no, it wouldn't be. Look, when you look at the training they're doing, like, I mean, so the training 3 or 4 nights a week and playing the weekends, it's just unbelievable. How they stick, I don't know. I don't think the lifespan would be as long as what we got over, like, so we got over till in the 40s, you know what I mean? But you wouldn't nowadays, like, that. You'd be broke up in one thing or another, where do you go? But that was it.
And then you get a trip to America as well?
Got a trip to the Cardinal Cushing Games in 1965. And I was working with a chap from Leaks at the time, Noel Delaney. He was great. So the two of us, like workmates, and the two of us got picked to go on this team anyway, and it was great. So it was a great fortnight over there. It was America at home all right now for us. We really enjoyed it. So that was one of the highlights anyway. So that was about it. Like, after that, I loved the thing. I loved the football.
Didn't you get in, when you were in America at that time, did you get?
That to me, Robert Kennedy, yes. Kennedy. Yeah. A few photographs with him and things like that anyway. And
that's a nice memory, isn't it?
It was. And then we're in Jack Dempsey's pub and all that over there, so we were royalty going around.
You had to get something after
we had the lot.
Get the liquids back in.
We got our liquid out right. You had to have that. Keep you going.
What would be your greatest memories, Pa? Would it be a match you played, or would it be just friendships you made?
Well, I suppose the friendships are great, like, and continue with that lads anyway. But I suppose winning the championship in '63 after such a span, like, it was great. It was absolutely great. It was a buzz for the whole parish here. Like, that's what it was like. And we came home. It was bonfires, and I know '63 is a long time ago, but it was great. It was great, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. And that would have been about my highlights now anyway, with the same football. So I enjoyed it. That was it.
Another highlight was '84, the centenary of the G.A.A. Remember, we had a massive parade from Woods' Garage down there up into the thing. We had our marching band come into being that time as well. They were reformed, if you like, for that particular parade. You would have been involved in that, 1984. The centenary year.
It was great. It was great. One of the highlights.
John and Pa, it was lovely chatting to you today, and it was lovely to hear all those memories. So thank you very much for joining us.
Shindera on Clare from Clane. Before we go, a huge thank you to everyone here in Clane for helping us to make this programme. Our final set of tunes are reels, The Maids of Moncisco and The Lady on the Island, with some Shannels dancing from Mairead Swords.
So as we say slán from Clane and hand over to Millie Fitzpatrick and friends in Craveneve Kilcock, we take in Clongowes Wood College and Donaghadee Forest along the way.
Roimh go dtí Kilcock chuig chlár FleadhFest ó Thuaisceart Cúnta Kildare. Welcome to Kilcock, another town situated in the north of Kildare. Thanks to our friends in Clane for that wonderful music, singing and dancing.
Kilcock takes its name from the 6th century St. Coca, who founded a church beside the Rye River. The saint is traditionally said to have been a sister of St. Kevin of Glendalough. By occupation, she was an embroiderer of church vestments, including those of St. Colmcille. A holy well dedicated to Coca, formerly thought to be lost in the backyards of Kilcock, is believed locally to be in the area behind the Ulster Bank, and her feast is remembered on the 6th of June. In the 17th century, markets and fairs were held regularly in Kilcock. The markets in Kilcock were probably the largest in North Kildare. A measure of oats in those times was referred to as a Kilcock measure. Present-day markets still take place on a Saturday in the town square.
Comhaltas Units formally started in Kilcock in 1991, with the local branch being called after Naomh Coca, St. Coca. Founding members include some current officers and lifelong members, Mary and Peter Mallon, Breed Rogers and Mary O'Keefe. Our committee are extremely hard working and the majority are musicians and singers who have been friends and played in the branch since childhood. The branch is very proud of all of its members, both young and old, beginner and advanced, and we look forward to many more years in the future. Please enjoy the trip down memory lane with music from Jack Fitzpatrick. Kilcock has had a long association with Teresa Brayton. One of the most famous songs, The Old Bog Road, was wrote by Teresa, who was from Kilbrook, Kilcock, County Kildare. Now we will hear Breed Rogers singing The Old Bog Road.
Where I was born, my weary hands are blistered from work in cold and heat. But oh, to swing aside today through fields of Irish wheat. Had I the chance to journey back or own a king's abode, 'tis soon I'd see the hawthorn tree by the old bog road. When I was young and innocent, my mind was ill at ease, through dreaming of America and gold beyond the seas. But sorrow take their money, 'tis hard to get the same. And what's the world to any man if no one knows his name? I've had my day and here I am, building bricks by load, along 3,000 miles away from the old bog road. My mother died last springtime when Ireland's fields were green. The neighbours said her waking was the finest ever seen. There were snowdrops and primroses piled high beside her bed, and Ferrell's church was crowded when her funeral mass was said. But here was I on Broadway, building bricks by load, when they carried out her coffin down the old bog road.
Inis tá Helen in work Lynn chun níosmó ólas a tuairstún as an teanga mórthímpel agus bhunú scoilí riada. Tháinig Helen chuig Kilcock sna seascaidí, bhí simicí i gcónaí sa teanga agus sa cultúr mar dreasta sí ar bhanscoil Langhailach i Montach Milic chun duine líse. Bhí si an glór na Gael le fada mar bhá leis an seoir Fiontan Davis, fila a bhí ag múna is Kilcock néfa. Bhí bantaí a fear céile éidean agus an clán galéir le Comhaltas freisin. Bhí Helen ar an chuiste siúrtha a tháinig le chéile chun bunscoil Langhailach scoilí riada a bhuna in 1986. Ré ionach a bheith agus bunaíoch níonra síimsa an bhíon ina dhiaidh sin mar bhí le bhain. Lean Helen ag obair ann ar feadh 20 bliain le peag ó báile san Níonra agus inniu leanan a iníon lísa an Níonra.
Ara, did you know the Rileys that live near Donaghadee, a fine old-fashioned place that had as snug could be? And sure, for decent people, sure you couldn't beat them round the 32 counties of Ireland's blessed ground. Oh, 'tis often I am thinking of Sunday after Mass, when down the mossy boring that skirts her door we'd pass, and sure, come inside a graw, herself would say, and then we'd have potato cakes and a cup of Irish tea. Sure, tea it was with cream bedad and plenty more in sight, and sure the hot potato cakes I'm eating here tonight, they were buttered in the middle with the butter coming through, and sure, with all respects to you, sure my face was buttered too. Ah, me stomach's sick and tired of the food it's getting now, with butterine and milk in tins that never saw a cow. And once a woman said to me, I used to take my tea with a slice of lemon in it, 'cause that's the Russian way. Well, I never was a Russian, a Frenchman or a Jew. I'm Irish every inch of me, and my face is Irish too. I like a dish of cabbage with corned beef or pork, but oh, for hot potato cakes, sure I'd go from here to Cork. And Bridget Riley is the one to make you drink an eight. You'd never leave her table while a crumb was on your plate. She never kept an empty pot or skillet on the floor, or shut against the neighbour's face the latch pin of her door. Oh, but 'tisn't food I'm wanting, though money's good, you know, and my health is just as good as 20 years ago. But I'm lonesome for the Rileys this many a weary day, and I'm hungry for a potato cake and a cup of Irish tea.
We're lucky enough to have the legendary Derek Warfield from the Young Wolf Tones here today. So Derek, what's your relationship with Kilcock?
Well, I've been living here in the town since early 1980s, and I moved here from my home in Dublin, and I knew when I was coming in to live in Kilcock that it was a very historic town, and I was aware of its connections with our traditions and our history, and since I've moved here, I've learned a great deal about the character of the place, the way it's expressed in poetry, and of the people that were associated with the communities around here. And I've come to the conclusion that Kildare was probably one of the fountains and the kernels of the Irish spirit, because what other county can boast of the fact that Lord Edward Fitzgerald had lived down the road? Wolfe Tone is buried in Bodenstown. John Devoy, who was the man that inspired the men of 1916 in New York, is from Johnstown near Naas in County Kildare. And we had here in this town two brilliant people, Teresa Brayton, who should be the poetess of 1916, and also the man who supplied all the money for the rebellion here, John Kenny. He came from this town. And of course music has always been central to the communities here. I'm very proud to live in this town and very proud to be part of the community.
And how have yourself and the band been coping during the pandemic with gigs?
Well, the pandemic has been a very difficult thing, and you know, when it hit, none of us could have foreseen that it would go on for so long. We decided that we'd have to keep in contact with our base around the world. So what we did was we performed a show every Friday for 2 hours. I always want to say about Comhaltas Kildare, and my first Fleadh was way back in Milltown Malbay in 1961, I think, and my first All-Ireland was in Gordy in 1962. So I've been going to Fleadhs for a long time, but the one great thing that it's done for me is introduced me to so many people across the world. And I built up friendships with so many people through music, through song, and the appreciation and value of this heritage that we have. And boy, it's a wonderful heritage. Jack, you have a great future ahead of you playing music, because you'll learn and you'll meet so great people. And success to you. And I know you love your instrument, the banjo, and every success to it.
Thanks very much for being out here with me today, Derek. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you and the Young Wolf Tones all the best when you get back out on the road.
Yeah, well, I'm 55 years performing and singing and playing, and I've loved it, every minute of it. And I brought so much joy to so many people, and you'll do the same, I'm sure. And can I ask you a question? What do you love most about playing music?
The people you meet.
The people you meet, the socialising. Have you any ambition? What would you like to do?
In music?
Yeah.
Hopefully just perform at summer festivals and teach.
You want to teach, yeah, very good. Well, if you have the talent to do both, you'll be a very lucky man, and the music will serve you well. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Larchill was created between 1740 and 1780 as a ferme ornae, or ornamental farm, and is the only surviving near-complete garden of its type in Europe. Larchill is a working farm with decorated buildings situated in landscaped parkland ornamented with follies, grottos and statuary.
Go raibh míle maith agaibh agus asúla gom go mbeidh le chéile a rís le cúnamh dé. Slán ó Kilcock agus Comhaltas Units.